Hello, good morning. It's Tuesday the 22nd. I'm FX Blue and this is the Market Brief. And if you, like me, rather enjoy a bit of symmetry, be sure to write the date a few times today. 22/2/22. Enjoy that. But anyway, Boris was on in a new package that sounds like it could be his new early learning book. His Learning to Live with COVID is aimed at helping the country return to normal. What that means is that from Thursday, those with a positive COVID test will no longer need to self-isolate. Will this change anything for you? Personally, I'm not too sure how keen I am on welcoming the afflicted straight back to the office. I never particularly enjoyed sitting next to somebody with a cold or flu, let alone a full-on COVID germ bag. But hey, I guess I'm just a prime candidate for a bit of learning to live with COVID because I'm a silly old fossil. There was plenty of opposition from MPs, and indeed the science nerds are a little concerned about how the withdrawal of free COVID tests will affect the old and vulnerable and the low-wage support workers in particular. But I guess we'll see how that plays out. Boris, meanwhile, has an early start this morning. He's due to chair a Cobra meeting that will discuss the current situation in Ukraine. Putin's latest move is to recognise the sovereignty of two breakaway regions of Ukraine, currently controlled by Russian-backed separatists. This means he has a legitimate reason to advance his troops into those areas, comically under the pretense of a peacekeeping mission. So things are getting a little fruity now, and this is a rather dangerous escalation that risks bringing armed conflict a little closer. Back home, output data for manufacturing and services saw significant increases, suggesting the post-Omicron recovery is back on track. This provides further encouragement for the Bank of England to tighten monetary policy and bring inflation back under control. The improved output reduces the risk that the hikes could tip the economy into recession. Good morning. In the market, sterling reached 136.40 before running into a little selling pressure. We opened just under the 136 mark against the dollar, but we're up over 120.20 against the euro. Over in the US, concerns are growing that the aggressive Fed action at the March meeting might be more like a stamp on the brakes for the economy. Come on, Bert, there's a good boy. Many senior economists believe the Fed may have left it too late to start tightening policy, and by allowing inflation to reach 7.5%, they need to play catch up with some pretty aggressive rate hikes, and they could risk causing economic damage later this year. One of the feared outcomes is stagflation, which you'll remember from Econ 101 is where the economy contracts whilst inflation continues to rise. It's a pretty nasty trap, and it's really rather hard to escape from. But with the outlook still expecting a 50 basis point hike in March, and some even calling for 100 basis points before June, it will need a rather careful pair of hands in control. Powell will be on in front of Congress next week. No doubt he can expect to face some pretty tough questions, and this may provide further clues on the medium-term plan of action. Meanwhile, the dollar index remains in a pretty narrow trading range. That's while the market waits for a bit of Fed action at the next meeting. Yesterday we fell to 95.70, but we did close back over 96 as that benefited from a flight to safety as Putin continued to play games with Ukraine. Keep an eye on that one, definitely one to watch today. Have a great day, join me again tomorrow.
If you do not have a clue, then just tweet through and ask FX Blue.